Hello guys, welcome to this video where we will talk about how to install PostgreSQL Server on Windows 11. Before we jump into the actual steps of installation, at a high level just understand that any kind of SQL server that you install will have two components. One is server and the second one is client. So we will install both these components for Postgres as well, and let's go to the steps. So first you go to the browser, right, and you go to this website. You'll find this link in the description as well, and here you can select your operating system. In my case it is Windows, and then you can click on download the installer. Here you can select your version. So in my case it is Windows, so I'll go to Windows and I'll go for 15.7 and I'll click download. So once you go to this page, download will start here. So we will wait for download to complete. Once your download is complete, you can double click directly from here and it will open an installation window like this. Now you have to click next. Since you are installing a SQL server that stores data, you will have to define the path where the software will install and also where the data will be stored, right? So my installation directory is like this, but I'm going to change it to something else like this. So as a best practice, I try to install all the application in my single folder, and then you can have the Postgres and then the version, and then I'll click next. So there are some components. So as I mentioned, basically we just need a server and a client, right? So we'll not install all the components. We'll just install SQL server and PG admin, and also command line tool, just in case if we want to access our database through command line. Okay, SQL server is the server component of PostgreSQL server, and PG admin is the client which you will use to access the server. And now here we will mention the data directory where the data will be stored. I will keep it as similar to my installation directory, and just that inside that it will have a data folder separately. Now I have to provide password. Remember this password because you will need this to connect to your SQL server. So I'll just put a simple password. Okay, and I'll click next. I will go with the default port and say next. I'll go with the default settings here as well. I'll click next. Here I can review my options, and if you're okay with that, click on next and next, and it will start the installation. So now our installation is done, and we will click on finish. So with this, the basic installation is done. You can check by searching for PG admin in the start menu. So you can just go here and search PG admin, and you will get PG admin 4. Just double click on this and it will open something like this. Once you open, PG admin will look something like this, and you can click on this server and you will see right now there are no servers. So you will have to right click on this and say register a server. Here you can enter any name that you want. So I just want to give it something like my test server, which is the default server, and then I can say connect. In this case my server is on the same machine where I'm working, so I will put localhost, and in practical scenario you will put the IP or host name of the server machine. Then I will enter a password that I had used during installation, and then just click on save. So if everything is correct, all the information is correct, you will have your server here. If you go to database, you will have all your details here, and if you go to schema, right now I don't have any tables, so I will not have any tables, but then now you can start creating uh, your queries. To run a query, you can just right click on the database and say query tool. I'll just and here you can write all sorts of query that you want to run. So up to this point, we are done with the basic installation, and it is good to go for most of your activity. Just in case if you want to run your commands from the command prompt, I will show you. Right, if you go to the command prompt and if you try to run PSQL, that is PostgreSQL server, so it will say PSQL is not recognized, right? So for this, we will have to provide the bin path of PostgreSQL server into environment variables. So for that, we can just open environment variables. Okay, and then click on environment variables, scroll down to look for path. Here it is the path, and you can go to click edit and scroll down and add a new path. And here I will put the path of the bin folder. Now where do you find the bin folder? The bin folder is same as installation directory. In our case it is D drive, installation, PostgreSQL server 15, right? This was the installation directory, and inside this you have bin folder. So if you copy this path, then you go back to environment variables. Here you say new path and you paste that path and click OK. Okay, and you are good to go. So now if I close this one and if I open a new command prompt, okay, and now if I put PSQL, it will ask me for a password. That means that now it recognized that command and your setup is done. So with this, we are done with the complete installation, which includes installation of server, installation of a client, and even if you want to run your queries through an command prompt, you can do that as well. So that's all for this video, and see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.